Whoopsie doodle. Bit of a false start there. Connected. I think we're good. Okay, sorry about that. Welcome aboard, folks. Howdy, Jay. Thanks for joining. Market news at mastodon.social. Thanks for sharing. Tech at tagpush.app. Thank you for sharing as well. Sorry about the false start there. Camera wasn't actually filming anything, so it was just a frozen picture. But today we are going to be looking at the 2025 Q4 agenda. We set this thread up on Discourse a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. If I minimize the draft post here, we can see what existed. And in this thread, I basically set out what I was going to be doing for the next quarter, that is the rest of 2025. And I also put on my own cast calendar that I was going to do a check-in today at noon, which it is currently. So we're going to do that right now. Let's see. Maybe I should move this a little bit over here so that you can see better. That's looking good. Cool. So, a number of things. First of all, let's talk about the projects that we've been working on. That's kind of the main gig around here, after all. Aside from the main two that I had planned for this quarter, that is Wikideck and Mobippy, I've been doing a few things in the background, just with my local stuff. Namely, I've been working with local AI, and I actually made a video about this already. The thread is right here if you want to go back and look at that. But basically the point I'm getting at here is that I solved a few problems with this local AI deployment that make it so that I can actually run AI models on this machine without it sounding like a jet engine is taking off in here, which is great. And that means I can actually write some applications that utilize those AI models. Pretty cool. Don't have anything specific. I do have some things in mind for that, but nothing I'm actively working on at the moment. It's more like that's now an option, and so now it's on my mind. Another part of that is this Matrix authentication service. So if you're with me on Matrix or element.eom.dev, then you'll probably have seen that I offer sign in with Google on my Matrix deployment. And while that is cool and it lets people create an account very easily, there's a bit of a problem with it. Uh-oh, we're double sharing. Uh-oh, sorry about that, market news. But anyway, yeah, there's a problem in that the Matrix authentication service, which is a thing that lives alongside your actual Synapse server deployment that handles the actual authentication. This is the thing that will do the OAuth with Google. It does not allow you to use an LDAP server for logins. So I'm not really able to easily make bot accounts on my Matrix server at the moment. And that is kind of preventing me from doing a few things. I have a Grafana deployment, and I could get notifications for alerts from Grafana in Matrix, but I would need a bot to be able to do that, and I can't make like a Google account for my Grafana instance. I mean, I could, but that'd be weird. There's probably a better way. It would be better if I could use the LDAP server that I already have to log in with this Grafana thing, but I can't do that, so I need another option. One option is to deploy a separate service called Dex and use that to do OAuth 2 with LDAP through this Matrix authentication service, but that's, kind of overcomplicated just for that. I could also allow for the creation of local accounts, which is probably the easiest thing to do. I just kind of don't want to do it that way, so I don't know. Given that I can now use local AI, I could then connect an AI model into the Matrix chat. Setting this up with local logins is probably the easiest path forward, and once I start wanting to work on these projects, I'll probably just pull the trigger and do that. And I might just do that over the next few weeks. But basically, the long and the short of it is I just continue to tweak things in the background, and this enables new opportunities for projects moving forward. Okay. Wikideck. Wikideck is kind of the big thing that I've been working on over the past couple of weeks. If you're not familiar already, this is an NFT blockchain, and it rewards Wikipedia pages for mining the blockchain. And we have it available for beta testing. Let's check if it has died. It has died. That's the problem. It keeps dying. So that's the point of beta testing. I'm hoping that other people will test this application out. I have left instructions in the thread linked right here of how you can download the client and test this out for yourself. As I just mentioned, there's already some problems being discovered, and I can take the opportunity to fix that. All you have to do is reset the pod. And Wikidec will come back to life. It takes a second, but we'll get there. And I created an issue on Gitea to reflect that. Let's see. This one as well as this one. Here is the actual server log that is causing that error. And also, I actually used my local AI instance with Falcon 3 3B Instruct to get some basic insight into that problem. I haven't really read this. I just thought it was kind of interesting that, I used the local AI instance to read through this log message and tell me what was wrong. Unfortunately, it told me I might need to use a different cryptography library, which is, I don't want to have to do that. But anyway, point being, Wikidec is available for testing. It should be back now if I refresh the page. There we go. Our blockchain is live. I can see that no other blocks other than the ones that I have generated have been generated yet. So that tells me that nobody has tested it yet, and that's fine. I put things out on the internet like this. I'll ask people to participate, and it is entirely up to you whether or not you want to. If you don't want to, then don't, and it's fine. I'll just do something else. I'll also pick this back up later, so I'm going to put Wikidec aside, let other people test it for the time being, and another time I'll pick it back up and probably try to improve it some more, and we'll see what happens then. Or I might lose interest entirely. We'll see what happens. It's fine. Cool, but yeah, this is in a pretty good spot. I'm ready to shift my attention away from that, let other people test it, and I am going to start focusing on the other project, Mobippy. That's a mobile Raspberry Pi, and the idea is basically just to take a Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5 and give it a battery and a screen. Asterisks on the screen, I'm thinking it might actually be better to not use a screen for this and use all peripheral devices for things like that and just let this be a mobile compute center. But we'll get to that later. Point being, now that Wikidec is in beta testing and I'm letting other people play with that, I am going to be looking at this. I have put on the Owncast calendar a stream for later this week that is an unboxing video of that Raspberry Pi Compute Module 5. We will be looking at that for the first time. I've actually never even seen the compute module in person, so that'll be interesting. Probably trying to flash an operating system onto it and just kind of basically get set up in that ecosystem. I'll create a separate discourse thread to track my exploration of the compute module 5, and then we'll also be moving towards this goal. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you saying so. So those are the two big projects that I had scheduled for this quarter, Wikidec and Mobippy. And like I just said, Wikidec, we are, at least I am going to be moving to the side and focusing more on Mobippy. On the side, I have actually started yet another project because, why shouldn't we start way more projects than we already have? This one I actually started this very morning, and I am exploring the Kraken cryptocurrency exchange. And I don't really know what I'm doing with trading on financial markets, and so the point of that streaming series is to learn. I have put several streams on the calendar for this week, each morning. Tomorrow there's a tentative one, and then Wednesday and Friday there are confirmed ones, where I will be basically looking at the investments that I have made on the Kraken exchange. We'll talk about what we want to do, and we'll make a decision of buying and selling and see. Yeah, no one knows what they're doing. That is kind of the point. I found today while I was doing the stream for the very first time, I definitely was going in blind, but as I was looking at things and trying to make decisions, I have more information than I think I do. And, like, for example, I had already purchased $100 worth of a coin called CCD, and I actually didn't know what that was. But on the stream this morning, I looked up what CCD is. It's Concordium, and looked up, the white paper of that and what the organization behind it is doing. And so it made sense that the investment had gone the way that it had. So I feel like we can make some kind of informed decisions there, but we're just going to have to see. It's an experiment. We're just trying to learn the platform and learn about making trades on financial markets. In the long term, and actually in the past term, I'll probably want to automate my trades on the Kraken API. But that's probably not something I'm going to be getting into in this upcoming quarter. Eventually, it just makes more sense to let your computer watch this market instead of me having to sit here and stare at it all the time. So we'll probably end up coming up with some software to analyze the market and then make decisions based on whatever conditions we set. But, that's in the future. For the time being, I'm just kind of playing around with it in streams in the mornings. And yeah, so if you join that and join in with the chat, then you can help tell me what to buy, because I don't know. So maybe you don't know either. We'll find out. Cool. So aside from the projects, I also had planned a trip. So in a previous thread, let me see, do I link it in here? To the moon. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing, is I've put some of my own money on that Kraken exchange, about $500 at the current moment, and going in with the expectation of losing it, so that's fine. It's just gambling, but potentially we won't lose it. And CCD has gone great. So anyway, so I had said in the original post in the Q4 agenda that I had a trip planned to the Appalachian Mountains. And I was going to do that at the end of October, but it is past the end of October and I haven't done that. So the trip got delayed. I was waiting for some film equipment to come in, specifically, well, actually I already had the R6 Mark II, but some other things that go with the R6 Mark II, including this Zoom H8. I've written these 2 articles about that if you are interested in seeing them. And actually, Jay, you were with me when I was testing these things out on Saturday when we went to, what was it? Dorothea Dix Park. Yeah, so that's what these things were. I was waiting for those pieces of equipment to be delivered, and so I ended up delaying my trip a few times, and eventually it just had been delayed too many times, and I didn't go. So shouldn't have done that, should have just gone, but we didn't. So I am rescheduling this. I am thinking that I will do it maybe even next week. I'm not perfectly sure yet. The reason being that the campgrounds are currently closed due to our lovely government shutdown. Yep, so this is how it has impacted me. I can't go camping. At least I can't go camping in the Appalachian Mountains because the Outer Banks campgrounds are still open and I can still go there. I don't think I'll be able to take a shower, but I can still go. And so I might do that instead. So I don't know what the deal is here. If these campgrounds are completely closed, if it's working on a first come, first served basis or what. And it's a bit of a long drive. I don't think I'm allowed to just, park on Blue Ridge Parkway and sleep there. I feel like more people would be doing that if you were. So maybe I'll, rent an Airbnb in the Appalachian Mountains and still go there. Or maybe I'll just go to the Outer Banks and go camping there. Maybe I'll pick somewhere else entirely. But I am thinking that I'll do that. Yeah, you would think that you could just park somewhere and sleep. I guess it does make sense, especially on Blue Ridge Parkway, since it's kind of a park for a lot of people, and you would be parking at an overlook, which is kind of designed for people to just kind of stop for a minute. Plus, you got to think about, if people are overnight camping there, they're going to leave trash and stuff like that. But they're leaving trash during the day too, so, you know. Anyway. But yeah, so I'm planning to reschedule that trip. I think I'll do it maybe even next week. We'll see. But at the end of the day, I will be live streaming the trip. So when I went to the Outer Banks last time, I live streamed the drive there and then several different excursions around the area. And I'll probably do the same thing here. Whether I go to the Outer Banks or whether I go to the Appalachian Mountains, we'll see. But I will be live streaming it. Especially now that all this like new gear has come in. And that's why we were actually testing it at the park on Saturday, Jay, in preparation for this adventure. Cool. So that's coming up soon. And I think the last thing is gaming. So basically every Saturday and sometimes on Sunday, depending on how I feel, I have been playing Vintage Story in the mornings. And I have enjoyed doing this. We did have kind of a problem in that I had to reset the whole server. But that's okay. Nobody else was playing on it, so that's fine. And I've enjoyed the new world a little bit better, actually. That being said, it has been kind of just a single player experience so far. I had set this up with the hope that other people would join in with it. Most of the games that I've done on here, though, have been free and open source. So, you know, suddenly kind of putting up a paywall for people to join the server, I can see why that didn't exactly work the way I expected, and that's fine. So basically, I'm thinking that Luanti has been much more popular on this platform, and I should probably shift my attention back to that. Nice to take breaks every now and again. I probably will take more breaks in the future, but especially after going on last week and seeing stuff that Eve, who just joined our Discourse forum, Eve built a lot of those really cool buildings that we saw last time, and so yeah, I'm feeling a bit inspired to start thinking about a Season 3 for Luanti here. And I don't know exactly what I want to do for that. I have some ideas of, I mean, you know, like the weather mod and stuff like that have got to go, but some basic changes to the mods, but whether or not I would do maybe a creative mode server or something a bit different. Forgot to turn off my notifications here. There we go. Yeah, so I might do something a bit different, and in the near future, I'll probably either in the Season 2 mega thread, I'll open up a discussion for thoughts for Season 3, or I will create a whole new thread that is just the Season 3 mega thread and just open it up before we start the server to give people a chance to discuss what they want to do beforehand. Try and coordinate a little bit. Yeah, and that's about it. That's our plan. This video is going to live right here in this Discourse post, and I will probably schedule another one of these check-ins for a few weeks from now, just to see where things are, because as we can see, what's on here doesn't quite match what I planned. My plans usually don't really work out, so it's actually kind of I'm a bit impressed that we actually got Wikideck up into beta state, because when I make a plan, it doesn't usually pan out. But hey, we did it this time, so cool. Maybe writing it down is the key. We'll see. Cool. But yeah, that's about it for the agenda. What do you think, Jay? What of this do you find most interesting, if you don't mind me asking? Be good to get a bit of audience feedback here. Ultimately, I am trying to make things that people want to engage with and want to see, so it's I like to do things like Wikideck, but I kind of have to like gauge the engagement to see how much other people like it. We should probably also look at YouTube statistics too. Actually kind of funny to look at the YouTube statistics, because there is something fun to see in them here. I think it's this. Yeah, this big spike. It's not quite as visible. And there are other spikes like it, but actually it's why I find this funny is because I left a comment on another YouTuber's video, Penguin Z Charlie. I left a comment on one of his videos that I think people took seriously. I said I was suing him, but I was just joking, and so like several of my videos got like minor league rated as a result of that, which was entertaining for me. But anyway, can't wait to see what you do with the compute module. Cool. And an LLM Kraken bot would be fun too. Yeah, that would be pretty neat. I think that there's probably I've looked for it. I haven't seen them, but I've looked for it. AI models that will analyze, stock markets and make buy-sell decisions. There's got to be some, but they're probably not open source, and so that's why I don't have access to them. We could consider training our own model. That's a possibility. But then for using LLMs to pair into the Kraken bot, probably what I would want to do is some form of sentiment analysis. So maybe when I'm making a buy-sell decision, I want to, scrape the subreddit for the latest posts or something along those lines and do some sentiment analysis and somehow work that into the buy-sell decisions that I make. So that's definitely a project. If we go over to Gitea here, here's the existing Kraken bot repo. I don't remember what's here. I think this is kind of left in a weird spot. It's been a while since 9 months since I've last worked on this. But I originally had this, and so we can kind of just adapt this in different ways to be whatever we would want it to be with an LLM or something like that. So yeah, cool. Glad to know that you're interested in that. I found that interesting too. It's interesting because what I was doing here with Wikideck and Mobippy was kind of trying to organize a project and plan it out beforehand and start doing it. And I have stuck to the plan. Like I said, I've actually got this beta version out, and I'm going to start doing the stuff with Mobippy. But the engagement on this has been quite low. The beta testing relies on other people trying it, and at the moment, I've been the only one who has generated blocks, and that's perfectly fine. The other side to it I'm seeing is just naturally, without having made any sort of plan, this local AI stuff just kind of started working. I found the variable that I needed to set in order to make it useful on my network. I set it, and now I have a bunch of ideas for things that I could do with this. I have a problem in the way that kind of prevents me from just kind of jumping into those. But maybe I should just start doing this and put these two aside. Kind of use the engagement as a guide there. With Wikideck, that's a live network then. Yes, it is a live network. So kind of. This Wikideck is, as it stands, it is not a decentralized blockchain. It is a centralized blockchain. This one HTTP server actually is managing the blockchain and is the source of truth for the blockchain. It does all of the things you would do to validate it in a peer-to-peer network. It's just for simplicity's sake, I thought, let's not try and make people host a server. Let's just give them a client that they can, just use. I do have some stuff in the background of this project to make it peer-to-peer. I just haven't written any code for that, one thing at a time. But yeah, it is live, it is active, and but at the same time, it's not permanent. So anything that we do on this, if you generate some cards and if we make some trades, probably shouldn't expect those to stick around forever because we'll probably make some changes to the blockchain and want to reset everything at some point in the future. So live, but just for testing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, to some degree, I try to plan, and that's what the point of this thread is. That's what the point of this stream is trying to plan things. But at the same time, sometimes inspiration comes where you're not looking for it. So sometimes I just work on what I feel like working on for no reason. So, whatever. Cool. Well, I don't mind this being a bit of a shorter stream. I think I can wrap it up here. I don't have much else to share on these projects. Yeah, be on the lookout for this. Got a few gaming streams on the calendar. And yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for chatting with me, Jay. You know, I've previously, I'll usually just kind of end the stream as soon as I'm like done ending it, but like someone else is here with me, so I'll wait till we say a farewell to end it. Yep, you as well. Thanks, Jay. All right, and thanks everyone for joining. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. But anyway, toodaloo.